Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Ooh, I might actually use this one because it bends. But I'll just keep talking and I'll project while I do that. I'm going to unplug this one too. But thank you again so much for having me. Sunday Job, we feeling good today? Yeah! Filipino American Heritage Month, thank you, my friend. History Month, JK. But I'm happy to be here because this was one of the first open mics that I visited in LA, or really the first community space that I was a part of. Back in 2016, I still remember it, it was like July or August 2016, and it was a collaboration between Tuesday Night Project, Our Mic, One Mic, and Sunday Jump. And it was like the first time I ever experienced the space back in Kapistahan Grill. So yeah, it was really feels like it was coming back full circle and getting to be here again. And then also getting a feature here in 2017 from Yabuhay, open mic in 2017. This is one of the first spots that I ever did get to feature with. So Sunday Jump definitely holds a special place for me. And yeah, I thought that there would be no better place to share my book that just came out. It's right here. It's called Play. You can pick it up in the back. I actually just finished going on a book tour, my first ever book tour. And I just came back yesterday, and I'm glad to get to spend time with you guys because I haven't been here in a little bit. And yeah, I think in honor of that, oh, and before I begin my set, I was also going to say I have a few other things if you're interested. You're not kidding, you do. This light is very bright. But I have like a journal, some pins, posters, an EP that I produced with my friend Fictitious Professor, who's also in the building today, and also going to be sharing his art with y'all. So yeah, come check me out, come talk to me. There's a few different things here. And thank you for being a part of this space and this experience. Where's the switch? Check, 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 check. There we go. Perfect. All right, and sorry, and to honor this space, I'm actually just going to present you all with the poetry without any of the crowd work. I really wanted to just share a different side of this craft and get to show you 3 very specific poems that I picked out and one that I just wrote while on the road. So yeah, thank you for being a part of it. Like I said, I'm just going to do the poems and hopefully share this story with you all. But this one, first one is called Letter to the Moon, and I hope you enjoy. Or sorry, this first one's called The Gravity of Longing. The second one's called Letter to the Moon. And I hope you enjoy. The Gravity of Longing. It started while the world was at standstill, from an open conversation on a Facebook thread about long-distance relationships held exclusively online. She thought it seemed perplexing, I thought she seemed the same. Though I don't fancy myself the bold type, I like the font her mouth made in the 30 seconds it took me to graze her profile. I imagined us to be that true story of so many Sundance selections. So I cordially scrawled the contact request, and in a matter of minutes, there we were, staring screen to screen. As a master of interpersonal communication, I proceeded to unhinge my jaw and let loose an incoherent cacophony vaguely resembling human thought. I showed her just how quickly I could tuck my toes between my teeth, but she just laughed, on notes of lavender and lilac, and sang back a ballad with a voice that carried itself like a mid-morning sunlight. I'll always remember her eyes. Despite the pixelation and continental divide, how they could still fill a room, dance their way across my chest, make me feel seen like I was still on stage. Her ample glances, the most delicious applause, and I've been starved since March. Our improvised play was a dance between planets. I found it surreal how I could sip her stories with each breakfast while I was always the last thing she brought to bed. We trade atmospheric observations between us, but I'd always lose track of the data, staring at the constellation of her eyelashes, entranced by this olive-framed doorway to an optimistic somewhere. I started tracking time based on when I could and couldn't see her. The old metrics meant nothing in an age where the days had a tendency to stick together like soggy newspaper. I could feel the current event of her electric appearance every time she'd click respond, and I'd feel that buzz again, but it slowly started to put me on edge. You can only shop for so long before the glass begins to crack, before the empty space across the table, where her laugh could sit perfectly, only looks that much more like her silhouette. Hungering for this snack that was ever out of reach had become my only food source. This was clearly not sustainable. So I composed one last arrangement, the only one I could see fit. Even though our notes were octaves apart, perhaps we could see how it all played out, as long as she was okay with letting other measures rest. I was not the only musician that set my time signature to hers, and she took to my ultimatum like a barn cat to white collar, preferring to roam of her own accord, untamed by my cubicle-shaped affection. On what was determined to be my final night of this gorgeous torture, I threw all pretense of patience to the wind. asked her for the blueprints to her allure, whatever secret she had left. I never could have guessed that she'd one up my gumption with a glimpse beneath her veneer, showing me all the peaks and valleys I'd never get a chance to traverse, flaunting a diametric dissonance, so benevolent, yet so brutal at the same time. But I still remember her in each cup of coffee, my morning sacrament to her late-night sacrilege, the aroma of her accent mixed with the bitter remains. I drink to the ideal of her and accept that it had to come with her distance. I drink to the dream of what we could have been. Thank you.